Hello dears. Today let's discuss the question and answers from the chapter Real Estate from the textbook Nature Matters, Readings on Life and Nature. When you open the textbook at page number 52, you can see the comprehension question. The one short answer questions. The first one is, how is the stream described in the poem Real Estate? Answer. In the poem Real Estate, the stream is described as clear, limpid, and waveless. By the use of these words to describe the stream width, the poet points at the purity and serenity of the newly created stream, which has not been reached out and abused by the human beings. Moving on to the second question, that is, what is being described as being in perfect harmony in Sebastian's poem Real Estate? Answer. In Sebastian's poem Real Estate, the newly created stream and the sky are being described as in perfect harmony. Here the harmony is brought about by the use of the word clear, which is the factor that harmonizes these two things, and obviously is in contrast to the disharmony shared by the unclear nature which already is in the hands of the human beings. The third question. List the words used to denote care in the process of doing something as seen in the poem Real Estate. Answer. In the poem Real Estate, the words used to denote care in the process of doing something include gently and softly. Here, care is paid as a penance for the carelessness they lavished once on nature. Now the fourth question, that is, what are the things to be lifted and lowered that the poet talks of in the Real Estate? Answer. The things to be lifted are the newly created stream and the sky. When he tells to lift it, we have to understand that it is also a plea to lift them from the sad condition they are in. Now moving on to the fifth question. Why is the task in the poem Real Estate to be done with care? Answer. The task in the poem Real Estate is to be done with care because their own future is dependent on the future of these newly created stream and sky. Here, care is paid as a penance for the carelessness they lavished once on nature. Now the sixth question, that is, where are the sky and the river to be put together according to the poet Sebastian? Answer. According to the poet Sebastian, the sky and the river are to be put together at some point in the vast void in nature created by the reckless actions of human beings. The poet here, by the use of the word void, indirectly points even at the ozone hole, that is the void created by human beings' greed. Now moving on to the seventh question, that is, why, according to the poet Sebastian, should the sky and the river be glued together? Answer. According to Sebastian, the sky and the river are to be glued together because he fears yet another chance of them being separated again in the future. He has the least wish to happen it so he stressed the idea of joining them inseparably for the best result of the task they have undertaken. Now the eighth question. Explain the line, "No time to waste" from the poem Real Estate. Answer. Here with the use of the line, "No time to waste," the poet cautions us about the urgency to mend the amount of damage caused to nature. With the elapsing of every single second, we are bringing danger to our own very existence. Now the ninth question. Who is being addressed in the last stanza of the poem Real Estate? Answer. In the last stanza of the poem Real Estate, the poet addresses the men of trade. By the use of the phrase men of trade, the poet means those who carelessly utilize nature as an easy commodity for their own personal gains. Now moving on to the 10th question, that is, what have they done buying and selling in the poem Real Estate? Answer. The poet tells the men of trade that buying and selling, they have eaten up the earth. The use of the phrase eaten up reminds of the void in nature created as a result of this act of eating up. Now the 11th question. What is the plea of the poet in the poem Real Estate? Answer. The plea of the poet in the poem Real Estate at the man of trade is not to cast the greedy eyes again on the fresh nature they have just created. Though the poet uses the word plea, we see that there is no word to support the idea of the humble plea, and rather it is delivered as a warning more than as a plea. Now the last question. What is the central theme of the poem Real Estate? Answer. The central theme of the poem Real Estate is the importance of saving nature for the present and the future generations. By depicting a near future scenario before us, the poet indicates that we have to pay dearly tomorrow for all the harms we cause on nature today. Now let's move on to the essay and the paragraph questions. I have included all the paragraph questions within the essay itself, so you don't need to study the paragraph separately. You just need to understand which paragraph corresponds to the corresponding paragraph question from the textbook. So the first essay question is, describe the ecological implications of a man's greed with reference to the poem Real Estate. The second question is, comment on the attitude of man that seeks ownership of the nature and its harmful consequences. Third question, in the poem Real Estate, the poet implies that the real estate men of trade have destroyed earth because of the greed. Discuss the modern implications of this idea with regard to the extension of several natural resources to the avarice of man. Now you just note the idea. The second paragraph of the essay is the answer of paragraph question number 5 and 6 from the textbook. The third paragraph of the essay is the answer of paragraph question number 1, 2, 3 and 4 from the textbook. The fourth paragraph of the essay is the answer of paragraph question number 7 from the textbook. Now let's move on to the introduction paragraph of the essay. A common knowledge that we consciously try to avoid is that the earth does not belong to human beings belong to the earth. Nature is one of the greatest blessings of our human life. However, nowadays, human beings fail to recognize it as one. In his poem, Real Estate, the poet Sebastian presents his criticism of the greed of men who seek to own the earth. The poem presents a scenario in the future when men try to create a new world by putting together a sky and earth in the void. Through the poem, he reminds us that all of humanity must work together to re-establish harmony and unity that the nature has lost because of man's greed. Now we will move on to the second paragraph of this. As I said, the second paragraph of the essay is the answer of paragraph question number 5 and 6 from the textbook. Paragraph question number 5 is, why does the poet call for the new sky and earth to be put together in the vast void? Paragraph question number 6 is, write a note on the poet's attitude to the earth. So the answer is, the central theme of the poem Real Estate is the importance of saving nature for the present and future generation. By depicting a near future scenario before us, the poet indicates that we have to pay dearly tomorrow for all the harms we cause on nature today. Sebastian paints a picture for his blind generation who loves to bury their heads in oblivion rather than uniting together for taking a positive move to repair the damage caused by man on nature. He sings, let's put them one on top of the other and glue them hard that they don't part again. We embrace dogmatic egoistic approaches to commerce and trade that gradually erodes the quality of life and destroy the ecosystem. The poet stresses that line of thinking which had caused the climate change and mass-scale environmental degradation must change. According to the poet, the sky and the river are to be put together at some point in the vast void in nature created by the reckless actions of human beings. The poet here, by the use of the word void, indirectly points even at the ozone hole, the void created by human beings. The sky and the river are to be glued together because he fears yet another chance of them being separated again in the future. He has the least wish to happen it so he stresses the idea of joining them inseparably for the best result of the task they have undertaken. He says that it is high time to unite to bring a change to the pathetic condition of nature. We have got no time to waste in thinking. With the use of the line, no time to waste, the poet cautions us about the urgency to mend the amount of damage caused to nature. With the elapsing of every single second, we are bringing danger to our own very existence. The balance of nature took about 4 billion years to settle into the pattern the earth now holds. When humans change one thing, large or small, it begins a chain reaction that we often can't foresee. We don't know everything there is to know about Mother Nature yet. So, caution against an imminent danger is the best method to preserve the purity of nature and thus to hold on to the dreams of tomorrow. Now we will move on to the third paragraph of the essay. As I said, the third paragraph of the essay is the answer of paragraph question number 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So paragraph question number 1 is, what are the two worlds presented in the poem? How are they different? Paragraph question number 2 is, write a note on the men of trade. Why does the poet address his plea to them? Paragraph question number 3, explain the lines, don't cast your covetous eyes on this. Paragraph question number 4 is, comment on the poet's criticism of the men of trade's greed. So the answer is, men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. Humans negatively impact the environment through industrial pollutants dumped in waterways, destroying forests, burning of fossil fuels, affecting climate change, etc. Since anything in a subjective world can have multiple sides, we have also people who strenuously work hard to give back the glory that our Mother Earth loses. In Sebastian's poem, Real Estate, there are two groups of people. On the one side stands those who urge to save nature, and on the other side is placed men who know only to buy and sell earth and utilize her as a commodity. The poet calls the second group as the men of trade. They are the men who have rotten the earth by buying and selling her without a thought on future. These human beings are breaking nature's balance through industrial development. They are destroying nature at an unprecedented rate, threatening the survival of 1 million species and our own future too. In the poem, we see how the poet, those who speak for nature, pays care as a penance for the carelessness they lavished on nature day by day. Here, the negative attitude is attempted to counter with a positive action, care and preservation. But the poet is not ready to compromise again in future with what these men might do on this fresh nature that they have just created. This is why the plea at the end of the poem is expressed more than just as a plea. He says, buying and selling, you have eaten up the earth. Listen to my humble plea. Don't cast your covetous eyes on this. Here, the plea has a tone of threat, which indicates the rage of the men of nature and the men of trade. Nature can be conserved, restored, and used sustainably while simultaneously meeting other global societal goals through urgent and concrete efforts fostering transformative change. Concerted efforts fostering transformative change. But the fact is that these men have no eyes to see where the world has to head. It is because of the work of these men of trade, our expanding farms and cities are leaving less room for wildlife. Climate change is set to become ever more destructive. In this light, the poet has nothing but a plea and a warning in general at the readers in general. Now we will move on to the fourth paragraph of the essay. As I said, the fourth paragraph of the essay is the answer of paragraph question number 7 from the textbook. That question is, comment on the significance of the title. The answer is, a right title is the harbinger of the meaning of any piece of writing, especially in literature. The title of Sebastian's poem, Real Estate, seems much more appropriate than any other title. Real estate is property consisting of land and the buildings on it, along with its natural resources such as crops, minerals, or water. The phrase is also used to mean the business of real estate. The profession of buying, selling, or renting land, buildings, or housing. The poet speaks volume about the importance of saving nature. When analyzed carefully, one finds that the writer plays on the title. Real estate is actually a presentation of the real state of the or environment or earth or nature. Real estate, real state, the real state of the the real state of the earth, environment, nature. Thus, on the one hand, speaking about the qualities of these real estate men, the poet, on the other hand, indirectly imbibes the real state of nature through his writings. The play on words gives the poem a charm of its own which many other prominent poets lack. It is only through the amalgamation of observation, intellect, and a born talent such a beautiful poem can be born. The poet's concern for nature is something far beyond his own words that is very much clear when the poem percolates to the end with its soft pit-a-pat music. Here the player can turn to the tone of a warning, and the words can turn to actions with the strong conviction that the earth is the only place we have got to live in. All in all, the poem's titled appropriately since it grabs the eye in all possible way. It shows what really happens on the other side of real estate. That is, again, a plea to make us see the real state of this earth that the real estate has eaten out. The title is appropriate when we try to understand the theme of the poem. The central theme of the poem is the importance of saving nature for the present and future generations. By depicting a near future scenario before us, the poet indicates that we have to pay dearly tomorrow for all the harms we cause on nature today. Now we will move on to the concluding paragraph of the essay. Poetry has always insistently refused to be a mere entertainer or a leisure pastime, involving itself seriously in social struggles and ecological causes. Sebastian's poem, Real Estate, is an eye-opener which reminds us the need to restore the beauty and glory back to nature. He urges us to do it as soon as possible since time is a factor that speeds up everything. He tells us that what we need to live in this world peacefully is not the covetous eyes. We need compassion, benignity, understanding, and an eye to see God in nature. Only then the right kind of devotion be paid and our prayers will be heeded to Because ultimately, nature is the only God through which everything takes its existence. So now we have finished all the question and answers from the chapter Real Estate. In the next class, we will meet again with a new topic.